Yay. Yay. Wrong sounding Muppet. Yay.
Yeah, it's the tired Muppet.
Yay. Waka waka.
That sounds like Lando Calrissian. He's the smooth Muppet.
Well, you think we can keep it under an hour and a half today?
Probably.
Probably.
We'll find out.
See what happens.
We'll find out.
In the next 30 seconds.
In the next 30 seconds? Well, in 60 seconds, we'll talk about that. But until then, watch this.
Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed do not reflect this station or any affiliated partners. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek EZ.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about? It's about nothing.
I love that.
Did we actually put out a We Went Live notification?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay. I was just wondering because we were doing that experiment. Well, you were doing that experiment, I should say.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Credit
6,000 hits yesterday. And it worked yesterday. It's not working right now.
Yeah,
Always
yesterday
something.
was nuts.
It's all good. Get the name out there.
It's interestingly enough, though, I noticed that the organic one, not the paid one, was actually much bigger than expected.
Well, it's because when someone clicks on it, it shows up in somebody else's feed as, hey, look, they clicked on this link. And that becomes an organic instead of a paid hit.
I thought it was based off of, followers or something like that.
Well, we need more. Got quite a few on Twitter. I mean, we're over 400 or 500, almost 500 on Twitter, but we've only got less than 100 on Facebook, and I would definitely like a lot more.
You have to wonder if the ones on Twitter are bots.
Not all of them.
It's like I reblogged a comment by a friend of mine.
Some of the ones on Twitter
their
are
cat.
bots.
Yeah, and I instantly got reblogged by Catbot.
Catbot. Well, you can thank our former producer, Xander, for that one.
What, Catbot?
All of those.
All the bots?
Well, yeah, I don't know what he did to Twitter, but all of a sudden it was like, boom, we got a whole lot of followers on Twitter real fast, so. Either way, well, let's see, where are we going first today? Because there's been quite a bit of stuff. I mean, aside from Discovery and that kind of stuff, I mean, we got Thor that we didn't talk about. Well, let's see, what else? I didn't see the Orville last week, so.
I have not yet either.
So we can't really talk about that. We can talk about it, but I mean, I haven't seen it, so I would not like it spoiled. But definitely, I did see Discovery. Seen Thor. Watched Shin Godzilla.
I can tell you that the Orville was mostly serious this time.
So was Shin Godzilla, by the way. Or Godzilla Resurgence, depending on which version you watch. I only watch my Godzilla films in the original Japanese with subtitles. But it was a good film. I'll get to that later.
I only watched it in the original Italian.
Godzilla says boopity boppity. But well, let's do Discovery. Let's get Discovery out of the way.
Have fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. You guys
I
don't watch
can't.
it anymore. You can't.
I do.
I haven't been.
I do.
I have not been.
Well, this week's episode to me felt like stuff was missing. I don't know why. It was like it was edited oddly, at least in the beginning of the show. But it was one of those, because it's a lead in to another story and it's to be continued kind of thing. It felt, I don't know, all the way around. Even, I mean, it's like one of those. It's the first chapter in a 2-chapter book.
What?
Those are always tough.
When you first said that the other day, I didn't think anything was missing, but then I kind of rewatched it, and the two things that stood out to me, one thing seemed to be out of order, and then another thing seemed to be missing. What was missing was any discussion of what happened with any attempt to rescue the Admiral. And then the thing that seemed out of order was we didn't know anybody was on a mission. He's yelling at somebody, at the attack officer who's not Tyler all of a sudden, and we're not told where they are until after that scene.
But it does make sense. You know, it starts to ask questions, okay, well, where are they? Why aren't they there?
Sounds rather disjointed to me.
I'm just kind of upset they actually killed her. Oh, spoiler alert.
I'll be watching it eventually. So, killed who?
The Admiral.
That doesn't actually surprise me. I actually expected that to happen.
I really thought that it was just a sham, and that it was like, oh, she's not really dead, and blah, blah. No, she did.
She was tasty, I bet.
No, she didn't get eaten. She got tossed in a room full of
Dead Klingons. It's just wrong. That whole thing was wrong. It's like they don't even have a morgue or anything. The stench that must be in that ship is horrific. Ugh. And why were those Klingons disemboweled?
Of course, that might be Klingon. That could be on air freshener. You don't know.
That's true.
Cole or whatever his name is disrespected them when he killed them. I think that's why that was.
Because
those were all Takuvma's people.
I just found it odd.
Well, if Tyler is Vulk, from what Laurel said last night, I'm not sure we're going to find out.
Probably not.
Because from what she said last night, I think Vulk's mission now is to unite the Klingons by defeating them.
Interesting, though, how they said he was House Core. So
Yes,
they're
he
at
is
least
Core.
trying to tie it into Star Trek Prime timeline somehow. And that was ironic. That still gives me a lot of questions.
Well,
a lot of things just don't add up.
The big one that stands out right now, the huge one that's glaring, that totally just goes again. If they're going to try to keep with canon, they have all these people that know Star Trek. The biggest one is Klingon cloaking technology. They got that from the Romulans during Kirk's run on the Enterprise. It was said out loud. And now all of a sudden they've got it from this other ship and they all can cloak. And I'm like, but
it doesn't mask the energy signatures.
True. Klingons, maybe the Romulans just perfected it.
Well, they do mention that, actually.
I don't know, actually, because in the first appearance in the Mark Leonard Romulan episode, it doesn't mask the energy signatures all the way either, does it?
No, because they could still trail them.
Well, like I said, they mentioned about the cloaking devices and the differences in DS9 with the Defiant. They specifically said we wanted a Romulan cloaking device, whereas it would have been easier to go to the Klingons. They just use cloaking devices. Romulans, no cloaking devices.
True.
And, there was also the episode where Rom and Quark stole a Klingon cloaking device, and as they're carrying it through DS9, the thing is like fritzing in and out, so...
What? I don't remember that episode.
Yep, it was one of the Mirror Universe episodes.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
one of those lovely episodes that point out the fact that the ye old glorious canon doesn't make much because cloaking devices don't exist in the Mirror Universe except for an earlier episode with a bunch of Klingon and Cardassian ships that get cloaked in the same series.
It was
Whoopsie.
confusing.
Whoopsie.
Yeah,
Wait.
actually they shouldn't exist because the Empire wiped out the Romulans before they developed cloaking technology.
Either way, I mean, we all know Star Trek has a habit of contradicting itself constantly.
Being a little
James R.
fast and loose with the canon.
Yeah, but again, it's like, okay, so I watched this latest episode. I was like, I'm looking forward to next week's with the battle. I want to see what happens. I am impressed that it's not always coming to save the day. I thought that was a pretty nice little. Oh, look, they're showing the horrors of war right there in front of you.
I do think they're a little too heavy on the spaceship and astronaut ship names.
The Gagarin.
The Gagarin, the Discovery, the Shenzhou, and the Buran.
No, they've always been very heavy on stuff like that, man.
Oh
no,
yeah.
this is even heavier. And if you look at this, if you look at the ship names that were released from the Battle of the Binary Stars that are up now, they're all like aviation people. I mean, it's way other than like the Taplanahath, which is still after a ship. It's a little over the top.
Have you watched Star Trek? Because they do that
Yeah.
all the time.
That's what I'm sitting here thinking.
I mean,
But they also have the Excalibur. They've got other ship names, and right now there's none of those.
Sure, there is.
the Lexington, the Saratoga, the Yorktown. I mean, yeah, they're all ship names. And, well, heck, the ship that was destroyed in Star Trek II was the USS what? Grissom, after Gus Grissom. So
That
this,
was
I mean,
great.
it's keeping with tradition. And as well as keeping with tradition, it's, exploring ships that are not Constitution class starships. So they kind of have to strike all the Constitution class ships off the list until they choose to put the Enterprise, the Yorktown, the Constellation in there. So we're going to see the other names.
I always, it's like, yeah, okay, it's old shipments, but they seem to like Toyota
Well, I mean,
and Chrysler.
I enjoyed the nod to Yuri Gagarin.
Well, ship names. It's just like you can't drive down the street without seeing 3 or 4 cars that's a Star Trek ship.
Mm.
Hell, there's a rental company.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like, hey, look, the Avalon.
But I mean, there's plenty of non-ship names that are historical names not related to ships and stuff. And we're not seeing that right now.
Well, maybe they. Well, look at it this way. Look at the U.S. Navy. I mean, maybe they should stop naming things after U.S. presidents.
Yeah, they actually did a poll, and people don't like it when they name them after politicians.
It's a naval tradition to carry on lineages and names, man.
I
Now-
mean, the keel's set to be laid next year. The third Gerald R. Ford class carrier, CVN 80, is going to be USS Enterprise.
The
because
Big
they're
E will live
scrapping
again.
CVN 65.
The Big E
What?
will live again.
There will always be an Enterprise in the fleet.
My brother was on its final voyage.
Damn.
Well, he wasn't on he was on a leg of the final voyage.
Wait, now that just shouldn't Cisco's Defiant be the Defiant A? or
Should have been,
B?
yeah.
Should have been.
But they gave it a
Um,
completely new registry.
Unless they, because of what happened to the Defiant, they struck the Defiant from the, the record, which has happened, and I believe has even been mentioned in Deep Space Nine that ships have been stricken from the record, and thus when they come back to that name, it gets a new registry.
Well, what about the hood? There's a Constitution class hood, and then we see the hood, I believe,
Excelsior
in
class.
Next gen is Excelsior class, and it's not the hood A or B.
It's usually the Admiral. It's Admiral Dechea's ship, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
They
Well,
don't
again,
necessarily have
it's-
to maintain the legacy.
I mean, the new Ford class Enterprise is going to be the first U.S. carrier Enterprise without a 6 somewhere in its designation.
To be fair, I don't think that was planned.
No, it wasn't. But I mean, that's that it's a supporting piece of logic to the fact that they don't always keep the numbers, or don't want to, or the writers just don't want to look up what number.
But we're walking away from Discovery further and further with
Yes.
this conversation. Just final thoughts. Was it a good episode or not?
I liked it. I felt there were it's a little too heavy on the referencing of the Organians, I think.
Yeah, that was my problem with it. Was it just felt like in a way they were reduxing the Organians.
You mean the people they didn't know about until Kirk and Core showed up?
I
Right.
understand that they didn't know about the Organians in the Star Trek timeline when this episode takes place, but it just feels like a reusing of a similar idea.
I never even picked up on that.
It was one of the first things I caught when I realized what the aliens were doing. I'm like, oh, this feels familiar.
Now,
I think the guy running looked a little awkward.
Yeah, that running was just a little weird.
Now, I mean, if he had gotten like on all fours and was leaping like a cat or a dog, that would have also been weird, but it would have explained the potential, what did they say, 80 kilometers per hour? Wow.
No,
that's
if we want to talk
fast.
about running, on all fours, that would have been Rook in Rebels, but we'll get to that.
we'll get to that.
I
We'll
thought
definitely
the
get to that.
I haven't
implication was
seen
that
Rebels.
Saru is more like almost like a cow than something. I don't know. That's what some people have said.
How cool would it be if that the species that Saru is, that the predators that ate them were Caitians?
I if I have to, make Saru like a Earth animal, he's probably some sort of deer or antelope.
Well, he's not
Allegory.
cloven-hoofed.
No,
He's
But-
got solid hooves like
Style.
a horse.
in reference to acting as a prey animal.
Yeah, he's definitely a prey animal. I mean, definitely. I mean, the way his leg is set, I'd have to look into the anatomy of it because, again,
A
whereas I
super
studied animal
strong
anatomy.
prey animal.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, super strong. Well, a lot of prey animals really are strong. They just give up the fight way too easy sometimes. But the way his
I know
legs
that. I'm not.
are designed, the way they have him up on a hoof, I have to look and see if a biped walking that way, because I know like quadrupeds quadrupeds are always faster just because they're running on 4 legs. They can pick up more speed, and like I said, 80 kilometers per hour on as a biped. That's insane.
Well,
The musculature in the legs would have to be ridiculous. He'd have to have hollow bones.
Yeah, and my question is, if he's got to run that fast, the species has to run that fast to avoid being prey. What is it that hunts them? Is it a giant bipedal blue-furred rodent?
Gotta go fast. Gotta go
Ding,
faster,
ding,
faster,
ding,
faster.
ding, 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 ding.
I don't know. Now, the one thing that stood out for me was how in the teaser beginning, before the promo, before that, they land on the thing and the aliens are there and all that kind of stuff, or right after the beginning. Then all of a sudden they cut to commercial thing, or they do the commercial break, they come back, and everybody knows the name of these aliens.
Well, I think they were using that name
was a time
because of no. They based the name on the planet.
Yeah, they just used
Okay.
because the planet was.
I mean, let's think about it. We call ourselves humans, but if there was a big alien, multi,
Or Terran, yes.
we would either be called Earthlings or Terrans
well,
because of the name of our planet.
Or lunch.
In TOS, the Klingons call us Earthers.
Yeah.
All
Well,
the
they
way
also
as
called
Gar-
Vulcans Vulcanites.
It's true.
Volcanians.
Oh, sorry, Vulcanians.
Well, remember, they also called the Klingon language Klingoni in Trouble with Tribbles.
No, Klingonese.
Yes, thank you.
They shortened it in Trials and Tribulations. They cut the line, but it was Klingonese. Okay, well, that's it for Discovery. Because I mean, again, it's hard to judge this story without seeing the second half.
Overall, good episode.
It's kind of like trying to judge the best of both worlds by just seeing the first half of the show.
I think it was a good episode. I really need to see where the mid-season finale goes to know. I hate the idea that we have mid-season finales now. I have for a while.
Yeah.
Also, if I seem distracted, I apologize. I just witnessed some epic stupidity on Facebook.
Go ahead.
No, it would get into politics.
No, don't do that. Epic stupidity runs rampant on Facebook.
Well, it wasn't actually Facebook. It was on Facebook, but it was USA Today.
It was tied to stupidity elsewhere.
Oh, yes.
Let's just say that I stick by the fact that mainstream media is just stupid.
Yes. Stupid. Well, politicians are stupid too. All of them. And this one little tidbit of stuff. Quick jump into politics. I don't want to hang on this too long.
Jump in, jump out.
Jump in, jump out. Just an anecdote. Walking through the store the other day, I was in the grocery store, and there's a coffee shop in the grocery store, and they had a TV running with CNN on it. And I don't know the politician's name. He looked familiar. He might have been the guy who did it ages ago. Do you remember the dude? There's clips of him running around talking about the ghost gun with the 50 magazine clip and all that, and literally getting everything wrong about a firearm.
Isn't that
okay?
Vaguely.
I'm 90% sure it was the same dude, and he said the exact same thing. I wanted to turn around and smack the television. I was like, dude, there's no such thing as a 50 magazine clip. It's like, dude, it's a clip. It carries rounds. It's a magazine. It holds rounds. It's not a clip. It's a magazine. A clip is a completely different thing.
But they're going off movie dialogue, which is terrible.
I know. But I mean, it was. I just
not even that. It's just that's just complete ignorance.
Yes, and it's the ignorant, and then everybody's just soaking it up. But that's it. That's as far as I want to get into it. Just because, like I said, politicians are stupid. On to
we can all
agree
No, on that. I think
the biggest one that came out this week, huge news. If it actually comes to pass, or if it's even true, I haven't even seen anything to corroborate or to just say the rumors went further.
Out with it, man.
Was Disney and Fox.
See, this is funny because I was actually going to segue you from your last point to this point with something similar.
Oh, okay.
What about Disney and Fox?
Because you were talking about CNN, and I went, well, apparently the Department of Justice told AT&T that if they were going to buy Time Warner, they would have to sell off and thus not own CNN.
Yeah, I saw that.
And thus, we got into mergers, and thus...
We got into mergers. We're into mergers, and now, rumors went rampant a few days ago. And it was just reports coming out that there have been talks between 20th Century Fox and the Walt Disney Company about Walt Disney purchasing the movie division of 20th Century Fox, leaving the television and news alone because they already own news stations, which I don't understand. If they already have a movie studio, how could they get... But that's neither here nor there. To keep it legal and to keep out of the legalities of monopolizing and things like that, they would not be allowed to own Fox Television or Fox News.
Actually, no, they didn't want to sell Fox News. Apparently, that was part of the discussion.
Disney, I don't think Disney had any interest whatsoever in Fox News.
Probably not.
They're too controversial, and that's just not a good matchup anyway. With
what I read, they can't own the primary Fox network because they already have ABC.
They can't own FXX.
No, the FXX was part of the deal they were looking at.
How could they do that if they already have Freeform?
Those are cable channels.
True.
That's completely different.
Okay, yeah, it's true. It's not network.
It's not broadcast.
Yeah, it's not broadcast. It's cable.
But supposedly they could buy individual local Fox affiliates, I guess, and convert them to ABC or something, but they're not interested in it, apparently.
Well, because they already own ABC.
Right, there's no point.
There's no point in it. It'd be like, oh, okay, we got them both. I mean, there's only so much Disney you can spread around.
Well, and actually, I don't even know if they would convert local affiliates to ABC. I don't know, but they're just not interested in them.
It's also neither here nor there because apparently the talks are dead at this point, so that might be why they got leaked in the first place. Just try to maybe
Well, at least
generate
we don't know if
interest.
the talks are dead. We just know they're not talking now.
Yeah.
Well,
Talks
there
may
have
have
been
already
talks.
happened, and now they're just gone their separate ways to go over what they discussed and then come back together later.
what got me excited about all of this was the idea of X-Men and Fantastic Four rejoining their Marvel brethren.
And being made into good movies.
And Star Wars actually totally completely being owned by Disney.
Yes, that was one. That's
Can
Disney's
there be a
biggest
good
draw.
Fantastic Four movie?
Yes, there could.
There totally could be.
The potential is there. It's just every movie
got
has
Doom.
missed on one big part or not.
You
Yes,
got Doom
it would
for
bring
one.
Doom, the Silver Surfer. I mean, it would bring Galactus into the universe, man. But it was like, honestly, the biggest. If you really want to think the big draw, Disney owns Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm owns the rights to everything Star Wars except the original. That is solely owned by 20th Century Fox, which is why
Because
you'll
remember,
never see.
doesn't Thanos and Galactus get into a major brawl at some point?
Yes.
So, wow, how cool would that be?
Yeah, I mean, the potential there. I'm just the fact that the 20th Century Fox logo is missing from The Force Awakens and from all Star Wars films aside from A New Hope now. And it's missing, and you know it's missing. You can tell. It's like there's an empty spot where that should be.
It should be there, yes.
When The Force Awakens was first run, there were theaters around. There were places where people went and actually played it before the movie started. Just because that's part of the Star Wars. I mean, for some, it's part of the Star Wars experience.
Yeah, the drum roll was missing.
It is
What
for
was
me.
it? $300 million is what they, or was it 300? It was $300 million, right? How much did they buy Lucasfilm for?
Oh, we're talking billion.
Billions.
It was billions. It was billions of dollars.
4
Okay,
billion.
Billions and billions.
now think about that. Think about it from a business standpoint. You own everything except for that one piece, which that one piece is the linchpin. So you can have all of this cool stuff except for that one thing. Now that has to be a huge draw for them, as well as all the Marvel properties coming back. To be honest, it brings in, because Fox has their own animation studio, it brings other movies into the Disney fold as well, and other things bringing in. So, yeah, I mean, Fox has put out, what did they put out? They put, like Rio and the Ice Age films, and all those are Fox.
Ugh.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just, dude, those are money-making films.
Yeah, but ugh.
It all started with a mouse, dude.
What about
I
Titan
can only
AE?
handle
Wasn't that
so
Fox?
much. I can only handle so much Ray Romano.
Well, what about Titan AE? That was actually a really good movie.
That really was, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was Fox Animation Studios, I believe.
Wasn't the Iron Giant theirs too?
I don't remember.
Not sure.
But
I'm
either
not
way,
sure.
then there's the issues that Disney is already the juggernaut in Hollywood right now. They make money hand over. They literally, it's like they're rolling in dough. And side note to this whole thing, I guess because of their feud, Disney's feud with the LA Times, that there's some critics association has now banned Disney films from their critics awards at the end of the year. And I could just see Michael Iger sitting there, or
Disney's already backtracked on that.
Either way,
They buckled.
They buckled? Because I honestly, it's like you would think they're like, who cares? I mean, it's not like you're going to keep me from the Academy Awards. I'm sitting here rolling on my pile of money.
They were getting huge backlash. I mean, and they buckled.
Now, I can say when you go back and read the article, yeah, what Disney was doing was kind of dickish. When you're charging $20 a pop for somebody to park in a parking lot that you pay $1 a year to rent. $1 a year. That's what they pay for the parking lot that they are charging $20 a day to park in, which is ridiculous. And there's other little things that the LA Times was pointing out. And basically, it was exposing Disney's dirty little secrets here and there. And Disney didn't like it, so they called them out, and they had a big fight. But the whole idea is like, oh, you don't get into the Critics Awards. I was like, really? Is that really that big a deal? I guess it is.
Critics
They
are
backtrack.
asses.
Well,
It just was really bad looking PR wise.
It does, and it runs into a. We can. I want to go back and segue into that later a little bit. I mean, but more.
And it didn't look good when one of the directors of one of their big 2018 movies came out on the critics' side.
Mm-hmm. The way the Disney juggernaut is right now, owning one more studio and bringing all of that in, it almost would. I mean, because that leaves what Universal and Paramount. Because the Weinstein film thingy that's shot, that's gone, and all of the stuff that he did, and I mean, there's only two big ones left. I mean, Universal, is MGM still around, or they own?
No, they're owned.
They're owned by Universal, I think.
Okay,
so.
And then I mean, it's like United Artists is with them as well. Sony they've got the Columbia Pictures.
For a while, Disney owned MGM.
Yeah, for a while they did actually. Yeah, and then they let go of it because that's why they had to change the name of MGM Studios.
Right.
To Hollywood Studios.
Right.
You got Sony, Warner Brothers,
Universal,
Universal,
and Paramount.
Is United Artists still around?
They are in there. I think they're with Universal as well.
And I know Columbia merged with TriStar. What happened to that one?
Sony. They're owned by Sony.
Oh, okay.
That's why the Sony logo now has the Columbia lady on it when their movie thing comes up. Or it says Columbia TriStar and it says a Sony motion picture company. So, I mean, Disney is already the biggest moneymaker in Hollywood. They really are. Even when Disney's movies flop, there's always one right behind it to make up for it.
You got, like, the mini majors, like Lionsgate, Amblin,
Got about DreamWorks.
DreamWorks is
CBS Films.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I would love to see a merger just to see the House of Marvel put back together. I would love to see Star Wars all together with the 20th Century Fox logo put out under that way. So it was kind of like continuing it's like the passing the torch and all that, keeping the torch lit or whatever. But the idea of Disney owning everything is getting kind of scary.
House hungers.
Yeah.
Geez, even New Line is gone. They merged with Warner Brothers in 2008.
Which was a surprise because The Lord of the Rings did just phenomenally in the box office.
There's a reason why those of us in the know refer to Disney as Mauschwitz.
Mauschwitz.
Arbeit macht frei.
Oh my God.
You're gonna give me all the studios.
That being said, Disney knows how to put out a product. Whether it's the parks, whether it's the films, whether it's television, Disney quality, the quality control and the stuff the stringent things that Disney, I mean, having worked for them, and Jim, you know this, they don't half-ass anything.
No,
they full ass it.
Oh, they do. They definitely full ass it, and it's that's one thing. I mean, it's like, would Disney ever put out the Transformers films? Probably not.
No.
Even though the Transformers films make huge
Mouse.
bank, they're crap films. Now, that's not to say that Disney has not made some crap films, like The Sorcerer's Apprentice or what was the other one? Tomorrowland.
Sword in the Stone. Way back. That was a bomb.
No, it was the Black Cauldron that was the bomb.
Oh, that was it. The Black Cauldron.
The Black Cauldron. Yeah,
man, I've been trying to find that movie.
Haven't they been wanting to take another run at that one?
Dude, that is probably one of the most horrific experiences of a childhood.
Never seen it.
It is
based off a series of books, isn't it?
Yes, but it's not a series of books that would make for good animated fare with a G rating.
I was gonna say, wasn't it kind of dark?
It was it was the first PG
extraordinarily
animated
dark
film for Disney because of how dark it was. I mean, dude, one of the bad guy. Well, I'll spoil it if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to spoil it. But
dude, the statute of limitations is long since passed.
They end when he gets his comeuppance at the end. Whereas most of the bad guys fall to their deaths and you never see them. They just kind of disappear. Or, well, I mean, if you're Sleeping Beauty, they get stabbed through the heart, kind of like that in Little Mermaid. But this
But it was
dude gets,
even that was an elegant death.
and yeah, and I mean, it's a way around it. But this dude gets ripped to shreds graphically. His skin gets sucked off his body, and then the bones, one by one, get sucked into the cauldron. And it's just like, and it's like a 20-second sequence, and you're like, oh my god!
And the whole time is yeah,
it is the one
now.
Disney film that I own that the kids are not allowed to watch until they get older. And even then, I'll be like, you guys gotta. I mean, they might get bored with it because the day is kind of boring. It's not the greatest of films, but it
reminds me.
Okay, trivia. What was the first live action Disney film to get a PG rating?
The first live action?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know.
The Black Hole.
Was it?
Yes, because they uttered both damn and hell.
Oh, yeah.
And back then, that would get you a PG rating.
Black Hole wasn't all that good, but it did have some cool stuff to it.
Hmm.
Anyway, the Black Hole had some incredible visuals.
Oh, yeah. But that does remind me, since we did talk a bit Star Wars and whatnot, and you talk about your kids and the age limit for watching certain things, such as the Black Cauldron. When did you have them see Star Wars? Have they seen the movies?
What? Which ones? My kids? My kids have been watching Star Wars since they were 4 years old.
Okay.
Which is the same age I was. So
you feel at age 4 that's fine for even all the way through to Force Awakens?
I think the only one they've actually watched all the way through were the original Star Wars and Rogue One.
So they haven't seen prequels.
They haven't seen the prequels. No, only Tyler has seen the prequels. My older son, but the twins.
That's because torturing kids is illegal.
Yeah, I actually took him to see it in 3D in the theaters when they released it, The Phantom Menace. But no, I mean, what they have sat down, and my son and I have sat down and watched the first film. My 5-year-old, and my daughter, she's into it. She knows the characters and stuff. She actually likes Rogue One better than anything else. And that scene with Darth Vader, while it is pretty brutal at the end, it gets all of them up and jumping, going, "Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!" So yes, am I watching my kids, yet not watching my kids at times? There are things where I'll say yes, I will let my kids watch this, but it's like cartoons. I don't know. Their brains work on a different level when it comes to cartoons.
Yeah, it's an entirely different set of neurons that are firing. I remember when I was a kid, my folks made the mistake of taking me as a kid the Ralph Bakshi's Wizards.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
Really?
Yes.
Wow, dude.
And
that's almost as bad as my stepdad taking me to see Species in like the 4th or 5th grade.
I was digging it, but I could hear them talking to each other. I don't know. Do you think we should have brought him to see this? Is kind of rough. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Rubble. Surprise. Well, the reason I ask is because I'm probably come.
But that's okay, because then I made a similar mistake as an adult.
You kept the tradition going.
As a young adult, I wanted to see this new picture about Rome and a particular Caesar, and I knew that my dad liked that kind of stuff, so I took him to see this really cool film. It was called Caligula. And it was a whole lot more than I was expecting. So
that must have been awkward.
Yeah, because it was me and a bunch of my guys and my dad, and we're all like, "Is your dad enjoying himself?" And I was like, "I imagine he is." Yeah, actually.
I don't know.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. Now, what were you going to say, Tank, about the film thing?
Yeah, well, the reason why I asked is because come Thanksgiving, visiting family, all that, and one of my nephews is going to be 6 next month.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I wonder what is what would be the general cutoff for that? Is 6 too young? Is I don't know. I never
For
saw
what, Star
them.
Wars?
Yeah, I never saw them in theaters as a kid until I was like in high school when they came out with the special editions. That's just how it
Being
worked
in the
out.
generation that was 5, 6, and 7, 4, 5, 6, and 7 when the original came out, dude, that was our movie. And I would say, my mom even starts like, "Are you sure?" It's like, I was 5, Mom. And again, being a live action film, there's a different I can tell you right now, at the age of 13, while I was still in the transition from being a kid to a teenager growing up, there was still, I mean, I had seen Nightmare on Elm Street and a few other ones already by that point, and it's a
Right.
live action, it's a horror film. Okay, it's funny, it's fake, people dying, slash and hack. And then I went and saw Transformers the movie. PG-13 film. Yet Optimus Prime dies on screen, dude. And at 13 years old, it still bothered me more than some dude getting eviscerated by Freddy Krueger.
Well, it's Optimus.
It's yeah.
Oh.
It's Optimus, but it's also the colors and everything about that. It just strikes you differently than
It does.
live
And
action.
My dad rented me that movie when I was little, and he came running into the living room. What's wrong? What's wrong? Because I'm standing there screaming. They killed him. They killed him.
But then I think it's more, again, their brain, a kid's brain when it comes to cartoons works on a different level. Whereas they still have a hard time separating fantasy from reality. They have an easier time for some reason with the live action than they do with the animation. Animation, they get drawn into a little more. I don't know why.
Seems like something
They
a study should be
invest
done.
more into a cartoon than they do into a live action film.
Technically, so do we.
I
but
know
that's
by
True.
the time I saw the Transformers movie, I had so much already invested from watching the TV series for a long time.
But
Well,
even then,
what I intend to do is I'm going to ask my brother and his wife and say, "Hey, don't mind if I introduce him to Star Wars?" And then,
do it right though.
Okay, what's your definition of right?
New Hope.
Oh no, I'm going to do it like in chronological order. That's the idea.
Boo!
Nah, man.
Quit.
Chainsaw.
Nancy.
1, 2. It's 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7.
No, I don't want to confuse him.
Okay.
It's just from start to
Yeah,
finish.
but then you destroy the whole. Is Darth Vader Luke Skywalker's father or not?
I suppose. I haven't worked it out yet because at first I have to get the approval, and if they approve for it, then I'm going to totally, do that. Well, I don't know if we'll do it that weekend or Christmas time. Depends how that all works out. But after that, I'm going to then blow his mind. I say, okay, you want to play some Star Wars game? Because I got all the X-Wing stuff.
Well, I think my kids got spoiled or they got it ruined for them. It's kind of like the whole Santa Claus thing for them. That they already, I mean, just because of video games and other TV shows and stuff, the fact that Anakin Skywalker is Luke Skywalker's dad was spoiled for them. If he's never seen any of it, then
I don't think he has.
Okay. But it was like I said, a few weeks ago, my son was sitting there and it was Darth Vader's not a bad guy because under the mask, he's just an old man. And I was like, okay, yes, I know you've seen enough of Return of the Jedi to know that. So it was like, okay, I mean, they got spoiled, but yeah, I don't know if he's never seen it. That if you want to run that whole gambit from 1 to 7, without, I mean, I introduced him by showing them Episode 4.
You do realize if you start with Episode 1, you run the risk of his favorite character from Star Wars being Jar Jar Binks.
Good.
Needs to say, don't do it. Either way, I would say yes. 6 is definitely old enough.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a matter. First, I got to get the approval. And if they approve it, then yeah, I'm going to do it because I don't.
It's
think
not like
he's
you're
seen
asking
any
him, hey, can I show him Saw?
Dear God, no.
It's like what's really sad is as a parent now, and my son, he's 11 going, he'll be 12 he's 11 and a half. And he keeps asking me, can I watch the Aliens films? Now, I was his age when I saw them. But I was thinking to myself, knowing him and that he is sensitive to certain things, I was like, nah, dude, I can't, not yet. I just know it's like you're a little more sensitive than I mean, I don't know. For some reason, I guess, I don't know. There was a desensitization or something. We were just slightly different back then. It didn't affect me. I never had nightmares from this stuff. This kid watches Jurassic Park and he has a nightmare. And I'm like, really? So it was like, I don't understand it. But I was like, in a year or two, you can watch all of it. I'll let you watch them all.
The only thing ever gave me a nightmare was The Exorcist.
Yeah, still does to this day. I can't watch that movie.
And Event Horizon.
I got nightmares from the trailer for Leprechaun.
I'm actually with
Leprechaun. Where's me gold?
I'm actually with Alistair on this one. I first saw Event Horizon shortly after it went to VHS. Yes, I know, I'm dated.
No. Event Horizon is just, that's a freaky film.
But I was like 12 or 13 when I saw it, so I thought I was ready for it. Oh my God, did that keep me up at night? I mean, it was well done, and even as an adult, I mean, I have to turn the lights on in the living room when I'm watching that movie. Because if I leave all the lights off, the hair on the back of my neck still stands up, and I'm in my 30s.
It definitely has some flavors of Hellraiser, doesn't it?
It does. It has flavors of Hellraiser, but there's, jump scare at the proper times. The build-up is extraordinarily well done, and it's, it just raises the consistent creep out factor throughout the entire movie.
And the thing about that
stays with you.
And the thing about that film is the way it starts off, you think you're watching one film, and then it takes that hard left turn into Crazy Town.
Oh yeah, I mean, you think you're watching like Star Trek Light or something like that, Nope. Okay, hang on, guys. We're taking a hard left turn. This is beyond 90 degrees. We're going to take a 45 here.
Yeah, you didn't realize that you're on a roller coaster, did you? Here we go.
That's funny.
Hope your chair's comfy. You're about to hide behind it.
I always found Event Horizon funny.
What?
Well,
yeah,
because it's over the top. It's
over the top.
Yeah, it's
dude.
ridiculous.
I actually laughed in the theaters. But again, I saw Event Horizon. I was 26 years old, and I was also fresh out. I mean, I was actually still in school learning special effects makeup. So it was like this was. I mean, it's very hard for me to watch these films now and not see the effects. And when I see really good effects, I love
more or less.
Yeah, but even then, it was just like because I was so steeped in special effects and all that stuff from a very young age. I mean,
Yes.
so in Star Wars.
Yes.
Watching, I already was able to disassociate that it's fake. And my kids, I think that's one of the things I can do with my kids see me do this stuff all the time. They watch me draw, they see me sculpt, they see my old work, and they know it's fake. I've put makeup on my son and all my kids. I put stuff on them before to show them, and it's fake. They creep themselves out. They freaked out. They're like, "Oh my God!" They look at themselves in the mirror and lose it. But I was like, "It's still you. It's just fake. It's paint. It's rubber. It's not real." So I don't know, but I still, Event Horizon made me giggle. It did not scare me at all.
The one that makes me giggle is, and every time it makes me giggle, is Reanimator.
Yes. But no, The Exorcist is still the only horror film I have ever watched that still haunts me to this day.
It does. It does. I saw it when I was 12.
Oh, dude, I think I didn't see it until I was at least 16.
At a drive-in, okay? And it really glued itself to me. I mean, I could not get the imagery out of my mind. It was awful.
What was this stupid movie with the giant rats? Back in the late 70s.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't believe they exist.
I cannot remember the Night of the something or other.
It's Night of the Lepus.
Is it Night of the Lepus?
And those are rabbits.
No, was it rabbits or either way?
It was rabbits.
Okay.
Well,
rabbits.
the movie with rat was Willard.
But they're not giant in that.
No, there was all I know is I remember I was a kid. I mean, it was in 77, 78, and my parents had already divorced. My dad was on a date, and he took us with him and his girlfriend to a drive-in to see this movie. I was 4.
Could it be the Food of the Gods?
Maybe Food of the Gods.
Ooh,
all I remember,
yeah,
the only thing that stands out that I remember was some poor dude who kept trying to have a picnic and kept getting overrun by these stupid animals. He finally bought it at the end, but
my
it was
cabbages.
Either way.
You know, another one that was similar that was kind of freaky the Nyla lupus or whatever. But instead of rabbits, it was whatever. You get
Lepus.
Lupus. What's the difference?
Lupus is a deadly disease.
Giant rabbits are not a deadly disease. Come on.
Only if they're vampiric.
Well, they were attacking and apparently eating people, but neither here
That's
nor there. Around the same time period was one with William Shatner. Like a town got overwhelmed by tarantulas.
Kingdom of the Spiders.
Kingdom of the Spiders.
I don't care for spiders to begin
My
with.
God, there are spiders everywhere.
They're all over me.
And I can recall a woman who had a revolver and she's trying to shoot these tarantulas. It's not working out for her.
So I guess you've never seen Arachnophobia.
Again, giggled my butt off at that movie.
Yes. No, thank you.
I think I know which one that is, but I'm not sure.
Because
the one with John Goodman.
I am an arachnophobe.
Really?
Well, when I was a kid, I fell into a nest of barn spiders.
Ooh. No, thank you.
That'll do it.
And yeah, I'm like Indiana Jones falling into that pit of snakes, and then that's it. You're done.
You know what's really funny?
Adam, here's how we know if you're talking about Night of the Lepus or not. Do you remember DeForest Kelley being in the movie?
No, he was not in it.
Then it's not Night of the Lepus.
That's right, he was in that.
So, you know what's really funny? I don't have any animal fears. I'm not arachnophobe. I mean, I'll swim in the ocean. I don't have fear of sharks. I've been in alligator-infested waters in Florida. I've fished at night in Florida with waders on. So I don't have fear of these animals. There's always, spiders, mice, rats, that kind of stuff. You know what I'm really afraid of? And you guys are going to laugh, and this is now going public. It's going to be out there. You know what I am? I'm actually afraid of them.
Marriage.
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit?
Huh.
All right, you're gonna have to explain that one.
I'm not
As a young child, my grandmother would force us to eat grapefruit.
All right, you win.
Okay,
I get it. I'm down.
it's but it went from just not disliking the food, because I seriously dislike them. They're hideous.
It's a revulsion.
It's a revulsion that actually, when they found out in college, my now wife and my best friend put a grapefruit on my pillow while I was sleeping.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was literally. It made I jumped out of bed as if someone had put a horse's head in there.
Supposedly, the thing is, to anyone standing on the outside looking in, just hearing this story, would think, really?
Yeah.
Supposedly, the wrestler The Undertaker has a similar reaction to cucumbers.
Really?
Now I'm just imagining The Undertaker. He's just having dinner, turns around behind him, and there's a cucumber on the floor, and he just does the cat jump thing.
He's part cat. Either way, we should move on.
Cat part.
Yes.
To what?
To what? To Thor.
Yeah.
Have not seen it.
We will not spoil it for you.
We promise.
Best of the Thor films. We can leave it at that, more or less, if we wanted to.
Well, we can give a spoiler-free review, because I know a lot of people still haven't seen it.
Like fire.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are not nerds like us that go see it within the first 2 days. I mean, I saw it opening night.
Hulk slightly more articulate now.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he was Hulk for how long?
2 years.
The humor.
There's no
in
shush
this
about
movie.
that. There's nothing spoiled. We know it. He's in the trailers.
The humor. Yeah, it isn't it. The humor in this film was so desperately needed from all the other. This is the I will okay. Art. They finally pulled the stick out of Thor's ass. He doesn't walk around Shakespearean like he did in the other two films and the Avengers and the second Avengers, where he was so stoic and so.
But that's part of his shtick.
Asgardian. But it's still there. He's still Asgardian. He's still Thor. He's just not. He doesn't take himself as seriously.
He's a little more jovial.
He's a little more. Yeah.
He's growing into
over
his
it,
role, as it were.
He's over it. But the film itself, I mean, it was definitely a 5-star film.
I mean,
Interestingly enough,
there are still those moments there where he is confronting someone over their deleterious behavior, and we see a touch of the old Thor because he's throwing his weight around at that point. So he does put on the tough and stoic Thor where it's appropriate, but for the rest of the time, we get to see a much more relaxed kind of Thor, the kind of Thor that says, "I like this drink. Bring me another."
It has one flaw one glaring flaw that all of the Marvel films have. The bad guy, or in this case, bad woman, is not fleshed out enough. She's just there. She's bad, and
There to get killed.
Yeah, it's
something like that,
or something to that effect. There is just it's something that is wrong with the Marvel films.
Well, actually, in this particular case, because I thought about this, I was like, why did Ragnarok work so well when the other ones didn't? Considering that it has some of the same glaring flaws that the previous movies had, and that's because, well, it embraced what it was, and it was essentially Marvel's Expendables.
Yes.
It had just enough plot to get it going, to give the characters purpose, and then they pretty much ignored it for action and comedy.
My God, you're right. It was Marvel's Expendables. Now, my biggest thing, having grown up in the 80s, that was you guys are 90s babies and all that. The 80s were mine.
I'm more 80s.
Ditto.
I was alive for more than half of the 80s.
Okay.
60s, 70s.
Okay, I was 10 years. I was 7 years old in 1980. By the time I was watching movies all the time, I was 10. 1983. This movie's throwbacks, from filming style to camera angles to camera movement, the way how do you say his name? I can see it.
Waititi.
Waititi. Yes. It's just so. The music and everything. It was a modern film shot like an 80s film, kind of like Stranger Things, and it just worked on so many levels with the other stuff that went on with it, because it was very much the Expendables, which was very much a throwback to the old action films of the 80s, which were just enough plot to get the story rolling, and then action scene after action scene after action scene, and then good guy kisses girl at the end, and it's all good.
Set piece after set piece.
Yeah, and that was exactly what this was.
It definitely had almost the feeling of an old Sinbad film, kind of.
Yes.
In its epic sweep. And what was cool about the way it was shot and the way it was all directed, when you're off world, you definitely felt off world.
Quick question, because this isn't a spoiler. Is the Sakaar in this film where the Sakarans from Guardians come from?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
So.
Okay, just making sure.
There were moments where I half expected the Guardians to show up for a cameo. It was that out there.
Well, that was the beauty of it. The fact that the Guardians of the Galaxy films and now Thor Ragnarok, unlike the other Marvel films, the color grading and the color timing on the film pops off the screen.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like if you watch Civil War is like it was shot through a gray filter.
Yeah, very grim, very grim.
And the last film of the Marvel films I can remember that popped off the screen in that way was Iron Man. Aside from the Guardians films.
Well, I know there is also the link, because I couldn't help but find this little spoiler out by just scrolling through my Facebook feed. I know the guy in Guardians was the Collector that they tried to give the Infinity Stone to,
right.
And I know it's his brother that's up in like the Caesar chair with Loki.
The Grand Master.
The Grand Master.
No, they don't.
So that's already a definitive.
They don't
link
address
between
it,
the
but
two.
They don't address that in the movie.
No, they don't address it at all, but it all makes sense now that you mention it. So.
But he is in the books. Actually, I think he is in the books as well.
Well, they don't mention the Collector as the Collector either.
No,
they don't name him.
No, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, actually, they do in the first Guardians. They do. They call him the Collector.
Second one.
My apologies. Well, they don't name this guy the Grand Master, but apparently it's
Game Master.
Pretty heavily implied.
Well, they're both weirdos.
Actually, some people pointed out, and thinking about it, I agreed with the way he portrayed the Grandmaster. Imagining him, making things appear by snapping his fingers in a white flash would not have been out of place.
Damn it, Q.
He felt very much like Q without the powers.
No one else but Goldblum could have played that role.
No.
He played a very casual omnipotence.
Maybe William Shatner.
Oh, Shatner would have been great in that role. Are you kidding
He
me?
stole my champion.
Yeah, but I mean that it was very much Goldblum's role to own, and he owned it so well.
Pretty sure John Delancey could have done it too, but
Oh God, yes.
Probably.
Could you imagine if he'd been in there? He would have probably acted like you. Right?
Now, I know, Adam, you and I discussed this for a minute. Did
Hmm.
anybody else that watched it? I loved the movie, but there's a few really badly done effects shots.
I didn't notice it.
There were a few just because they were obviously fixed in post, and the biggest ones, you can actually, this is not a spoiler because Art, you can see this in the various trailers. The scene in the original trailer where Thor's hammer gets destroyed was obviously shot on a green screen, and then they were placed into New York in an alleyway. In the final film and in the final trailer, that setting has changed. And the compositing in some of the shots in those scenes is a little off.
Anytime in the scene where it's Loki, Odin, and Thor, anytime the camera swung behind them, there's an edge to them that shows that the background, that the sky was changed or added in. And it really jumped out at me.
But that being said, even with its flaws, it is. Would I give it 5? Yeah, I think I'd give it a 5.
It's certainly the best of the Thor films.
Yes, maybe a 4.5.
There's enough going on that it's certainly rewatchable.
Because I mean, now that I went back and I've rewatched Wonder Woman, I can't even give Wonder Woman a 5. 4.5 for Wonder. Yeah, I can't go up that high. There are two. There's a few things in Wonder Woman that make me scratch my head and go.
I loved Wonder Woman, but the fight with Ares is terrible.
Yeah, it's one of the, it's definitely a 4.5, 4 3/4 stars. It is a rewatchable more than once film. Thor Ragnarok definitely will be rewatchable. The humor, everything. It's a 2 thumbs up and a toe, I would say.
Good. I mean, I still need to collect some of the Marvel movies, but I look forward to watching this one.
Speaking of Marvel things, the surprising news, which is more, if you're into the comic side of things, you would pick up on this more, I think. But we have.
Oh yeah, I was going to hold that for last call, but we can do that now.
Oh, I mean,
there he is.
We're trying to keep it short.
Keeping it short. Yeah, well, we're an hour and 2 minutes. Let's see if we can keep it under the next 20 minutes. Brian Michael Bendis has left Marvel Comics. And for those of you out there who don't know, who don't follow comics and aren't geeky in that way, Brian Michael Bendis has been with Marvel for close to a decade now. Creator of the comic book Powers. Let's see.
And the TV show.
And the TV show. He's basically the creator of the Ultimate Spider-Man and all the characters therein.
He's also the creator of Jessica Jones.
No, he's not the creator, but he was the writer.
He wrote a lot of stuff.
He's written.
I don't know. Ars Technica called him the creator.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't think he created the character. I think she's been around a little longer than he has. But he wrote her for a long time. He is the reason why she got a TV show.
He's written some of the big name things: Secret War, House of M, Secret Invasion, Siege, and Age of Ultron.
Yeah, he wrote the Avengers for almost 5-6 years straight, 7 years straight. So him leaving Marvel is a huge deal. Monster deal. And like he said in his Twitter, he's like, change is good, change is necessary, and he's looking forward to being creative for DC. That being said, what will he do with the DC? I mean, where are they going to put him? That's what's. I mean, are they going to put him on JLA? Are they going to put him on Superman? It's like, what are you going to do? Or is he just going to create new stuff?
Maybe he's going to create, like Ultimate DC.
Oh dear Lord, no! They just tried that with the 52, man. They went and
they tried it with some of the All-Star stuff.
I will
years
say,
ago. Batman having sex with Black Canary on a burning pier and everything.
well,
Damn.
well, yeah,
Batman. That's what he does.
Batman. The what was I going to say? DC right now is on on an uphill. They're going. I mean, they're rising. Their stuff is getting better. I will complain that DC's got way too many Batman books. Way too many Batman books coming out right now. They're all over the place. It's like you got Batman White Knight, you got Batman the metal stuff, the dark metal or
I don't
what's
think
it?
White Knight is specific to Batman, though.
No, it is. It's a Batman story. White Knight
It is
about
well, it is a Batman story, but it's. I mean, I just
It's
really
about the
got
Joker.
introduced to it today. Yeah, it's about the Joker. It's more focused
but it's
on
still
him.
set in the Batman universe outside of the continuity. There's a few other Batman books out there, as well as just the Batman books and the Justice League books. Because I mean, right now Batman, I think he's like the Wolverine of Marvel. Or Wolverine of DC. He's everywhere. He's in like 10 different books on a monthly or weekly basis. Because you also have the Injustice 2 series that's still running. So I mean, it's like as long as they don't try to add another Batman book and say, "Oh, Brian Michael Bendis is going to be writing Batman," this story is like, no. Let him put him on JLA. I'd love to see what he could do with JLA.
I'd be definitely curious to see what exactly he's going to be doing. I mean, this thing is more writing, though. He's not like the editor or anything like that.
Mm-mm. But he has written some of the greatest comic books of the past decade.
It's true. Hard to argue that point.
And just think, you put Brian Michael Bendis and Jim Lee on a book together, it's going to be all kinds of good.
Yeah, I don't know what. But then again, he kind of bounced around to multiple different things. I think it's also possible he might even create original content for DC.
True. I mean, DC's big thing that's coming out now is the Clock, right?
I honestly don't know.
I haven't. It should be coming out sometime this month. The first Watchmen / DC Universe crossover, merging, melding. And I still want to know, I mean, how is Superman supposed to take on Dr. Manhattan? That's a fight that is already lost before it started.
It's because it's the nature of Dr. Manhattan.
I guess.
He just, on a whim, he thinks it, and you've been decombobulated.
I mean, yeah, he could put Krypton back in the sky.
Well, that won't affect him.
No.
He's going to use psychology to make Dr. Manhattan think Dr. Manhattan to death.
Well, right now, he doesn't even know the existence of Manhattan. Right now, they're doing the whole Oz.
They're leading up to it. They're doing, they got Jor-El into. I mean, I haven't even read any of the books in the past month and a half. So
I've actually been enjoying the Superman books just because they've got the classic Superman down. So,
you know, it's always funny seeing a photograph of comic book writers and artists. It's like, I know what Jim Lee looks like, but a lot of these guys, you know their names, but I have no idea what they look like. And seeing him, I was like, whoa, okay, it was so not what I was expecting.
Bendis has got a pretty big presence online. He's regularly on his Tumblr, and he'll interact with folks there. Sometimes just to be a smartass. Of course, when stuff that they send him and he responds to is like, yeah, you kind of deserve that reaction from him. But yeah, he does actually. He's very personable, very open, and I think that definitely works in his favor, especially considering that he's apparently taught at a couple different universities too. He's worked occasionally.
He's not stupid.
No, he began teaching writing at University of Oregon in fall of 2013, and occasionally taught at Portland State University.
Didn't Bendis write the original Nick Fury after credit scene for Iron Man?
I'm not exactly sure.
I think he did.
I'm not seeing anything to that effect. Possible.
I know he had his hands in some of the film stuff. I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for him writing Jessica Jones, highly doubtful she would have got a Netflix series.
Well, no, he created Alias, which is where Jessica Jones is introduced.
No, a.k.a. Jessica. No.
Character was created by writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist Michael Gaydos. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Jessica Jones was created. Really?
Yes.
Why do I remember this character being
First appeared in Alias #1, November of 2001, a Max imprint.
interesting?
Are you mixing her up with the fire superhero from the old Spider-Man and Friends?
No, that's Firestar. I know her.
I know
could've
her.
sworn-
We have dinner every so often.
yeah. But I mean, again, him coming to DC should be. I mean, if you read comic books, it's a pretty big deal, and I read comic books, so it was like when Jim Lee came to DC, that was a huge deal, and this is just as big a deal. And
you might think she was around because when he wrote the series, he went and did flashbacks of her when she was active as Jewel and everything.
Interesting. Maybe that's possible.
Similar,
least, I mean-
similar to how they did the Sentry stuff. Only no
Well, I was
one
going to say the
forgot
Sentry was
her.
the Sentry was a monstrous hoax that it was a troll, is what it was. When it's like, oh, this lost character created decades ago, and by decades ago, I mean 5 minutes ago by Stan Lee. But I don't know. There's only so much we can say because we have no idea what he's going to be doing. I just look forward to it.
All he's just announced that he's going to work exclusively, as in contracted. Nope, not working for anybody else. At least comics-wise, anyway, as far as we know. You have to wonder, what did they offer him? We're never going to know that.
Oh, it had to be, yeah. We're never going to know, but it had to be something pretty good, pretty extensive.
They offered him hats.
Well, the one article said he's going to be sitting on the committee with Jeff Johns that actually has a say in the movies because he lost that position when Feige stopped reporting to Perlmutter. He lost any say in the TV and movie stuff at that point.
Speaking of DC's V, has anybody watched this season of any of them? I gave up on Supergirl when it was no longer about Supergirl.
Yeah, same here.
When Supergirl became second character to the romance between her sister and her sister's girlfriend, I was like, okay, I'm not watching this to watch 90210. I want to see Supergirl.
Right.
Doing Supergirl stuff.
Flash held my attention for a little while, and then
Gone in a flash.
I lost it, and then the fact that they just keep bringing in more super speedsters, I just can't
they
go
did
back
introduce
to it.
this season. There are no speedster bad guys, which is a good thing.
If it's not on Netflix, I can't watch it.
They've got they've got Katie Sackhoff is on the show now. Captain Cold's coming back for his last season. Elongated Man was just introduced. So I mean, I gotta go back and watch them. There's only 5 episodes so far. I'll just jump on the CW app and I'll watch all of them and see what happens. But I gave up on Arrow ages ago because I can't stand Felicity. Cannot stand her.
Well, I see where a friend of mine just commented that Katie Sackhoff just blew the roof off the place. So,
well, cool. I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
She tends to do that.
Yes. Very commanding presence.
Well, he said she is so not Starbuck in this. So, okay,
That's
good.
I have to say, she did an incredible Dirk Benedict impression for Battlestar Galactica. The cigar chomping badass.
You know, he actually didn't like her portrayal.
Really?
Originally, anyway.
I think he's come around, but originally when it came out, he was very, very negative.
It was the fact they did all the gender bending on the roles and stuff kind of got me at first. But again, it's still not one of my. I just 4 seasons of no good ever happening. Just it wears on you. There's only so much drama I can take.
They have a plan. Turns out, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
So I take it you've never made it all the way through Babylon 5?
Oh no! Oh, Babylon 5? No,
Battlestar Galactica.
I've watched all of Babylon 5.
Well, you say that so much it wears on you. I mean, Babylon 5 in a lot of ways is darker than BSG.
True.
Yeah, well, that's because you've never actually finished watching Babylon 5.
Dude, I'm still burned out from mainlining the first 10 episodes. I haven't even been able to go back.
Mainlining.
Is it
To
Babylon
be
5?
fair, like most science fiction shows, the first season's not where it's good.
No, it's not that it was bad.
Also,
It's
Babylon
so
5 has
dark.
an unfortunate case of the last season is also not very good because they thought they were getting canceled.
Yeah.
So they finished all the storylines in season 4.
And then they're going, oh crap, we got another season?
It's just that it's so dark.
But Babylon 5 would throw
see-
something into the mix every once in a while.
they would throw in these little lighthearted episodes, these little character-driven episodes, where even the character that season you're wanting to hate, you know, had lighthearted moments.
Dude, by the end of Battlestar Galactica, the new one, by the end of the 3rd season, I had gone from, was like, you know what, screw these humans, I'm rooting for the Cylons. I wanted them all dead.
Well, didn't the new BSG suffer from Lost syndrome in that they had no idea where the series was going?
Pretty
It
much.
was kind
They
of like
did not
that,
have
yeah.
a plan.
That was the whole thing. They played it up. It's like, they have a plan. And you're thinking, okay, what's the ultimate plan? What is their end game? You're thinking maybe destroy all the humans, populate the universe. What are they doing?
It bothered me that they never ran across any other alien life. In all those jumps, they never came across any other humanoid life of any kind.
Did they in the original?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. That's what
Not
I'm
only
asking.
alien, not only humanoid, but they came across aliens.
I mean, really alien kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, they came across what probably was the seed planted for the Q continuum. If you really think about it. Was it? Yeah, it was the middle of the first, I mean, it only had one season, right? The Gods one. Where that big white ship kept appearing.
Oh, yeah.
How is that the seed for the Q continuum when TOS has the Organians, an actual god, and Trelane?
But those were standalone characters, not an entire race.
The Organians were an entire race.
True.
And the race that pits Kirk against the Gorn.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the Metrons.
Yes.
Yeah, Firefly's commenting here in the chat. Wait, let me guess. They were all trying to be Xanatos. I'm assuming in reference to the Cylons were all trying to be Xanatos. I don't think they were that clever.
Not enough for a Xanatos gambit.
And you know what? As much as I like the actor, the guy who played Gaius Baltar was no John Colicos.
No, not at all.
He didn't choose scenery the right way. Yeah.
I like the guy who played Adama, though.
Oh, yeah. Of all the characters, Adama was the only one with any sort of redeeming qualities.
Yes.
It was like, you know what? They should have thrown the president into an airlock with everybody else. Sucked her right out. Let her die from cancer. That sounds horrible.
It is horrible.
It is horrible,
Yeah.
but I was kind of hoping the character would die.
Well, she was working on it.
I know.
Well, she finally does. So
I didn't know the original BSG had a Klingon knockoff.
Well, it was about the same
the
time period, right?
The Nomads.
The Borrelian Nomen.
Nomen, yes.
Well, it's been about 20 minutes, gents.
We have. Let's see. Okay, let's go for last call. We're going to call last call. See if we can wrap this up in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But last call right now, real quick on my end, was I know you haven't seen much of it, Art.
Yeah.
But Star Wars Rebels has finally given us what we've been hoping for. Anybody else not watch it this week?
No, I missed it.
Now kiss.
But I have heard.
Okay.
We got Nagiri, right?
What? Yes, we've got Rook, and I gotta say, even though it's being played by Warwick Davis, the digitizing they did to his voice is incredible. Does very well. It's just it's a nice. What's the word I'm looking for? Having read them in the books in the EU for a while, and now finally seeing one on screen, it's all good.
I thought he was a little too tall.
It's still all good.
Rook?
Yeah.
Nagiri were not short guys, although they were always portrayed as, or at least
they passed them off as Jawas in one of the books.
Well, that's because they're just really, really good at.
No,
And
they're short.
Well, they're always hunched over. They've been portrayed in others as being a bit, more stand uprightish, tall.
I mean, they called him short in the episode, but he didn't seem short enough to me.
Yeah, he was shorter than Ezra.
Well, no, he was hunched over most of the episode. He was
Which is what they
crawling
do.
around on all fours and stuff.
Yeah, but when he stood up and he was sniffing Ezra, he was shorter than Ezra.
I need
But
to be
that's
watching that.
You know what though? With the addition of Rook, I think is all good. It's the other side of the storyline, the one romance that we actually did want to see.
That was always hinted at.
That was always hinted at, and we finally got it. And it was just like they even did. I mean, the little nod they did of the other characters going, "Hey, check it out," was perfect because it has been the tension has been there. It has always been worked out, and Hera finally kissed Kanan. And I'm not saying Kanan kissed Hera; she finally kissed him.
It's because he couldn't see her. Can't find you. Where are you?
They pretty much got interrupted both times they tried to kiss.
Oh no! This last episode, she planted one on him.
It wasn't really a kiss though. Didn't Zadi or whatever walk up right as she did it?
No. Because they got interrupted, and finally they were about to go walk, or she was about to leave, and she planted one on.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
And it was like, finally, it's about blasted time. Now you know somebody's gonna die. Can't do that and then make it all happy at the end. I mean, we know Hera lives.
We know Hera. I think the main thing is one, either Kanan or Ezra or both are going to become one with the planet, because they keep emphasizing Ezra's connection to the planet, and then you have the Loth Wolves knowing Kanan's real name.
Doom.
Well, it could be just that it's a Force Nexus.
Possibly. Either way,
The wolves might just have a better sense of the.
It really
Force.
sucks that this is going to be the last season, because they walked away, because the first season was very child oriented, and it was geared more towards a younger. And then as the story progressed, kind of like the Clone Wars did, it got more and more intense, and just became another Star Wars story instead of an animated cartoon aimed at kids. It is now right there in the pantheon with the rest of them as something worth watching, and we're going to lose it.
Well, we still don't know if they're going to split things off.
Well, no, I mean, this season ends. I'm really hoping they go forward and they do between Jedi and Empire, or Jedi and Force Awakens.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is we don't know if maybe they'll split. The Jedi will go off and do their own thing, and then we'll be following Hera in a new crew, or who knows? We don't know.
I mean, I am upset that certain characters can never return. I think that one of the biggest ones was Asajj Ventress.
Yeah.
Her death, and it was one of those, oh man. I was like, why?
Well, to be fair, they still could at any point just go back and go, nope, she's alive.
True, they could, but I mean,
they did that with Darth Maul, 3 times?
Because anything that appears on the screen completely overrides anything that was in a book.
True.
I was gonna say, I thought the book that was that ties in with Clone Wars was the definitive end for her.
It was the definitive end, and it was a canon book, because unlike Star Trek, the books in Star Wars do contain canon material. Like the newest Luke Skywalker one, which I have, and I have to read now, that supposedly Luke Skywalker can pull a Star Destroyer out of space.
Well, it's not like he's the first one to do that. Technically speaking, Starkiller did it first.
True, but Starkiller is EU.
And then Dorsk 81 launched a task force of them away. That's EU.
Okay. Well, let's see. My other bit of last call news would be little tidbit I saw, and it's out there floating around right now on all the geeky sites and things like that. Luke Skywalker appears to have a red kyber crystal hanging around his neck, a broken red kyber crystal that I guess the rumors are is Vader's.
Which apparently belonged to a Jedi Master.
Yes. I don't know. Because the sabers he uses in the comic book are not his final saber.
They never said.
Well, they show it, though. The hilt is not his saber.
No, but that doesn't mean that he uses the hilt. He
That's
builds
true.
his own hilt, and then he just has to, quote unquote, make the crystal bleed.
True. Very
I
true.
Still hate that phrase.
Make it bleed. Hey, what's wrong with your lightsaber? Oh, it's that time of month again.
No.
Oh, there goes. That's it. I'm gonna have a hate meal now. But that was it. But for my last call, anybody else?
Judd Nelson is back as Rodimus Prime.
Don't have any visuals for that. And Peter Cullen is back. Thank God.
I just the link I shared has the trailer.
I can't show the trailer. I'm not allowed anymore.
Well, you got to have Peter Cullen. I mean,
well, they didn't.
Michael Dorn is Fortress Maximus. Will Wheaton is Perceptor. Nolan North is Metroplex. Too bad Alistair timed out.
Somebody doesn't say "shut up," Perceptor. I'm not gonna wait. But
Tay Zonde is in it.
The
Chocolate Rain.
The last series that Machinima did was so bad. Oh my god, it was so bad. I really hope this one's better.
Matt Pad is apparently in it as well.
Jim, you know who they had doing the voice of Optimus Prime in the old one in the last series?
Ooh.
That Machinima did was the guy that does the honest trailers.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with him, but that's not Prime.
It's
No,
not Prime.
it's not.
And
Cullen
it was
is Prime.
The whole story, I mean, it was like one of those where you want to stab yourself in the eye to make something exciting happen. That's how, I mean, it was that bad. It was so bad.
Peter Cullen's pretty much encapsulated that character. You really can't replace him.
No. He's not James Bond. Optimus Prime is not James Bond. You can't just throw somebody else in the mix. Even Batman, you can throw other people in the mix and they make it their own. Peter Cullen is Optimus Prime. It's like Frank Welker is Megatron, even though he's not voicing Megatron in this latest cartoon series. But
which is a crying shame.
Where'd you put the link in there, Wolfie? Where was it?
I put it in the TeamSpeak chat.
It's there. It's up there now. People, when they watch the video, can see that. But yeah, there's that. Anybody else got anything last call? Since Alistair bailed on us?
He timed out.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice in the matter.
Oh, no.
Well, I guess my little personal bit of news. New job. I love the fact, though, they didn't soften it up for me at all. They're like, he's moving in from this position to this position, and let's welcome him as he takes on this challenging position. I'm like, I'm glad you softened that for me. I would hate to go in there with any expectations of it being difficult.
Yeah.
But then again, I told a guy, because I know several of the guys that are on that team, and he was trying to give me a hard time. He's like, "Oh, I know exactly what I do to annoy you, to really get under your skin. I'll pair you up with the worst guy we have here. He's just terrible." I was like, "Why would you sabotage the team that way?" Because I would go out of my way to learn exactly how he does it, just to spite you. And then when they say, "Why are you doing this so bad?" It's like, "Well, I learned it from him when so-and-so put me over there to watch him." Like, I have walked through the valley of the shadow of the job that I'm currently doing. You have nothing on me. It's like, bring it. Get on my level. Get good, scrub.
What I always hated was they bring someone new in and they go, "Hey, Jim, teach them everything that you know so that we can pay them more than you later."
Those were the salary ones. But that's happening here. But anyway, Art's got something.
Well, it was just something that popped up last night that I'm kind of hoping for. As you guys know, I was a technical writer at CAE, which was an amazing job. I absolutely adored that job. I miss it. I never thought I'd actually hear myself say I miss work. But a technical writing job.
You miss being productive.
That's it.
No, I actually miss the job itself. I miss the people. I miss the facility. I miss everything about it except for the drive. But I just got an email last night, and I applied for it. So here's to hoping. A similar position just opened up in Montoursville, New Jersey, which isn't horrifically far away from me. For a technical writing position with Lockheed Martin.
Ooh,
so
rock on.
I applied for it. There's no guarantee I'll get it, but I am going from, avionics and aviation and CAE to hopefully aviation at Lockheed. I'm hoping, I'm praying, and if I get this will fix my lousy situation.
Wow, that would be so cool, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
At the very least, hopefully you get to the interview.
Yeah. Well, so far I have, with the exception of a pre-recorded interview, which I think was like the lousiest way, because you were given like 1 minute to think about the answer and 1 minute to record your response.
Ugh.
While trying to hold, in this case, nothing worked on my computer, so I was just trying to hold my cell phone and not stare at the screen, try and stare at the little camera. With the exception of that and possibly one other, I have yet to not get a job that I've actually interviewed for. So here's hoping.
Send positive waves.
Yeah, please.
Yes, positive vibes heading your way. Positive vibes.
Don't let Will Wheaton hear you say that.
Other than that, my model train my model railroad club open house season's coming up, so we're in full on prep for that, and it's going to be amazing. Because the stuff I'd worked on is one of the guys from a different scale actually said that I've made what looks like a crown jewel in the HO layout. So he said, it looks like it had been there for 30 years.
Nice.
Ha! Yeah. Our suggestions helped, maybe. Not just that we had no credit in that. It's all him.
Oh no! I will happily say your guys' suggestions helped a lot. It's just I had like 4 great test sprays for the exhaust effect, but then when it came to the actual building, because it had the roof overhang, I couldn't quite get the angle right. But it still looks all right anyway.
It looks fine.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for me.
From the Challenger corner of the world.
Good night, folks.
The pre-production is moving forward, and we're getting things done, and gearing up for the shoot in February. So, not much to report. Just we're chugging along.
Chugging along.
Yep.
Anybody else got anything?
Don't.
Best advice ever.
All right then. Well, we'll be back next week. What's happening next week? Anything good?
Justice League?
Well, that happens after our show.
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
We got Discovery. We got
You said
another
for the
Rebels.
week. You said week. You did not
The
specify
week,
day.
yes. I did.
Orville tomorrow night.
Someone is back. We have to give him a chance.
Oh yeah, Alistair, last call.
I had a last call, but considering that my computer locked up, I think it's fate telling me I should probably not do my last call. I will only say one thing.
It was your destiny.
42.
USA Today, chainsaw bayonets don't exist.
Yeah.
This would end poorly anyway.
You can bet the military probably, at least conceived it at some point in time and wanted to try it.
Probably not, actually.
Well, how do you think the flamethrower was developed? Boy, you see those people way over there? I'd like to set them on fire, but I'm not quite sure how to do it from standing over here.
Actually, no. That was developed for a very specific reason, i.e., how do we get them out of the bunkers? And they keep throwing our grenades back out at us. How about we just throw, liquid napalm, on fire
down the hole? Yeah, right down the hole.
And it sucks air out. So, yeah, of course, it's terrible because, one, you got to have 2 guys least you did back then, have two guys guarding that dude, and if he gets shot, there's a good chance the tank's going to explode. But yeah, chainsaw bayonet.
Right, we saw that in the film Hacksaw Ridge, as a matter of fact.
Chainsaw bayonet?
No, the guy with the flamethrower gets shot and explode.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified. I was like, I don't remember that. What version of the film were you watching? Just one more guy.
The better version.
The 40K version, apparently.
Oh, I feel the ditch veering up at us very quickly here.
All right, well. Same bad time, same geek time, same geek channel. Next week, I'm sure we'll have more to talk about. Bigger things will happen. Maybe we'll get some more Star Wars news. Aside from Rebels.
We're getting closer to the date.
Yes, we are.
Do people pre-order tickets?
I have not yet.
I have not.
Negative.
Neither have I. I haven't decided where I'm going to go yet.
I probably won't till next week.
Can't afford it.
We will send you money. I'm not kidding either. I will totally pay for your ticket if we get, just to get you going.
Hey, as long as you're throwing money around, I got a film I need to get shot.
Look, your film is not the cost of a ticket. If it was, I think you'd be a very cheap film.
And we don't want that.
Oh,
burn.
Somebody call sick bay. We got a burn patient.
And on that note,
I'm not sure who got burned in that.
Wah wah wah.
That was burn. Well. Oh, you know what? I didn't tell anybody how good Shin Godzilla was. I'll talk about it next week.
All right. Gojira next week.
Gojira next week.
Geek EZ.
Yes. All right. I'm done. You guys done? Say goodnight, boys.
Good night, boys.
Good night, boys.
Good night, boys.
Peace.
And we're out.
Thanks for joining us at the Geek EZ. We have some big changes coming down the road, but to find out about them, you have to hit that subscribe button. You could also follow us on Facebook and Twitter to find out what's new and what's coming down the road. So do us a favor, subscribe.